You think Frodo and Sam wanted to go through the marshes and like go bobbing for dead bodies and stuff like that? No. There'll be some low points, like losing your lembas bread. Anyways, we're getting way off topic here. Let's get back to the reaction. Hey everyone, how's it going? Noxiddar here, and welcome to our next episode reaction to One Piece, episode 10. I can't believe it. We are fast approaching being 1% done with the journey. I can't believe it. It's just going by so quick. But episode 10, that's quite a feat already. Like I said it in the episode before last, well, the video before last, in the pinned comment that like I simultaneously couldn't believe I was already on episode 8 or only on episode 8, and I also couldn't believe that I was only on episode 8 at the same time. And that's kind of a similar feeling here moving into episode 10. It's both moving very fast, and yet we still have so much left ahead of us, and that's the most exciting thing. So without any beating around the bush, because we're not Usopp, but we're about to see him as he's doing just that. So weird. Okay, we're going to start our reaction now for episode 10. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I have to say it every time new characters introduced, but they did such a great job casting in the One Piece live action. I know there was the big controversy around the one character in Shanks's crew. I can't remember his name, Ben or something like that. One of the things that I'm really glad that I did was that I started with the One Piece live action before I moved on to the anime. One of my biggest fears and concerns was that if I had gotten really deep into the One Piece anime, I was worried that it might really color my opinion of the One Piece live action. So even though I've said, up to episode 40, I really can't stress enough that it was on in the background, and it was more that I just wanted to be kind of immersed in One Piece without feeling like I would be spoiled, because a lot of things that I was noticing as I was watching other videos surrounding, getting hyped for the One Piece live action is these people were, anime fans, they were manga fans, and they were very free and loose with things that would probably happen outside of the scope of the show, or big moments that occurred within the actual show. And I'm like, no. Okay, if it's going to get spoiled, I'd rather be spoiled by the thing itself, if that makes sense. So I had it on in the background, and like I said, it was just kind of to create that atmosphere of being in this world of One Piece, though I really wasn't paying that close attention to it. I wasn't eyeballs on the screen the whole time. I was mostly listening to it, and I've covered this before, like the English voice actors are very talented, but a lot of them have very recognizable kind of traits to their voices, where I found myself being like, this sounds like a character I listened to in Dragon Ball Z, and that was kind of taking me out of really focusing on what they were even saying or what they were talking about. So a lot of the experience that I pull from is mostly coming from the live action experience. And again, I'm so glad I did that. I didn't want going so deep into the anime to color my opinion of the live action. But anyways, back to where we were. They did it such a great job here with Claudor and Kaya as well. So like I said, I'll probably say every time it comes up, the love and attention to detail that was put into that show was tremendous, and it is, in my opinion, now the new standard if you even want to come close to touching a live action anime adaptation. Whew, take a breath. I'm just trying to I kind of wish we could have seen this in the live action, especially because I grew up like a big Michael Jackson fan. I'd love to see something like that in live action. That'd be so good. No joke. I'll have to get a picture of this one day, but there are squirrels out on my giant oak trees outside my house, and they do this exact same thing. I'm gonna call them Usopp next time I see it. Oh. Sorry, that was a horrible place to pause. Even I recognize that. That look right there in Luffy's eyes, though, that calling Yasopp his friend a filthy pirate when he knows better, and Usopp, you know, at least suspects better based on some of the things that Luffy told him. Oh, that's interesting. That was not a that was not a wide-eyed stare. That was not an observer's look. That was someone measuring the next words very carefully that were about to come out of that man's mouth. Ooh, that was good. Okay, that was actually pretty good. I like that. Oh, he went for it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I can't. I really want to focus on what he's saying, but the moment that music dropped, it made me feel like I was in some like 80s or 90s like cop action thriller or something like that, like some 48 Hours, some Beverly Hills Cop or something like that. It's just like that heavy synth with the oh gosh, oh that's good. Oh man, I do. I really like the fact that Luffy took that personally, from the things that Cloudor was saying, and you know, obviously we saw that it really affected Usopp to the point that he like went Batman scaling down a tree, and then cold clocked him in the face, where we didn't see any of that in the live action. So that's really cool. And the great thing is that it focused back on Luffy taking that in. And I think that's, you know, these are the things I'm really going to look for, because a lot of the criticism that I saw in the live action was like Usopp didn't really do anything or show anything to utilize his worthiness, I guess, of being brought into the crew. You know, you could argue that just because Luffy knew his father and, you know, saw a little demonstration of a similar skill, that, you know, he saw the potential in Usopp. But I think this is almost like more indicative of like, hey, you defended your friends, or your family in this case especially, and you defended their honor, and that is not going to be going unnoticed by Luffy, clearly, because he was staring at it the whole time. I'm the son of a pirate. Okay, all right. I think I should be able to better focus on what was being said, but man, that music kind of really caught me by surprise. The old bait and switch, huh? It's so funny that Cloudor is using projection and misdirection by basically putting all of, what we eventually know him to be onto Usopp's father to generate this reaction so that he can accuse Usopp of hatching the scheme to receive Kaya's inheritance, when actually, we know that ultimately that's kind of his big play at hand. That's very clever. See, he feels like way more even keel in this anime. In the live action, they did nothing to disguise the fact that he was very much villainous, a schemer. And, so in some regards, it's kind of interesting watching this, because I would think he was just a very overprotective butler who just didn't like Usopp, just the way the rest of the village didn't, because he was just not a good influence on this young lady. So it's kind of interesting that seeing it almost from two perspectives now. And ultimately, that's really what I want to get out of One Piece, whether I'm watching the live action, watching the anime, or reading the manga. I don't want to scrutinize between the two as much as I just want to enjoy each one for what it is and what it represents. Going back to like an earlier comment that I made, starting with the live action, then moving on to the anime and finding even more things to appreciate, things that, I didn't get to see in the live action, things that are expanded on, are explained a little differently, or even, in some cases, even just better. And then taking that all the way a step further and getting the direct source, from the mind of Oda himself in the manga, and not having the fluff, and getting a more direct, streamlined experience as I work through that. Like every single one of these mediums is in itself going to be very unique and very special. And that's kind of how I really want to treat this anime too, is like, and I told people like this in the comments, like, you're really not going to hear me talk about things that I don't like, because it's just not valuable. It's not a valuable use of our time. And believe me, I can fill up time in these videos. That's not an issue. And I never want it to just be bogged down by what I don't like, because it always seems like it begs the question, well, then what's the point? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? And the truth is, I love stories. I love storytelling. And that's all I need. That's all I need to be able to enjoy this and enjoy the comments that you guys have and things like that. So without any further ado, let's get back to our reaction here. But it is something that I'm passionate about for sure. It's just, the theme and story of this is optimism and hope, and there is a very positive vibe that goes along with it. And so that's something that I'd really like to keep as a throughput. And even if the story ever strays to things that I think are too weird or too disconnected from what I'm experiencing, and maybe doesn't hold the same enjoyment as others, I just don't see the point, the value in tearing something like that down, because ultimately I know, that's part of the grand adventure. I think Frodo and Sam wanted to go through the marshes and go bobbing for dead bodies and stuff like that. No, there'll be some low points, like losing your lembas bread. Anyways, we're getting way off topic here. Let's get back to the reaction. Damn, that slap. Man, you could really hear the hurt in his voice there. That was good. Oh, Butler. Yeah. He said some stupid stuff. That's why. Of course he's back. This may seem like a really weird comment to make, but the last couple episodes have done some very interesting things with the way they compose the shots, like having that overhead view looking down on Kaya, having the horizon shots as we come into Usopp when he's doing the stare down of Luffy and Zoro, and the way it had this like extreme, almost like a 45-degree angle, right? That was it's just very interesting, and it kind of plays into this theme of like things are a little unsettling, even though if you remember, the first thing we opened with was that really happy tune of Usopp running through town, you know, telling everybody the pirates are coming. But yet at the same time, it's like juxtaposed with these angles and like I said, you know, just the way like scenes are composed and framed. It gives a kind of uneasy feeling to things. I think that's really cool. There it is again with these like slanted angles. See, he's almost endearing here. Oh my gosh, here we go. Just imagining he's done this the entire time while all these events have transpired is hilarious. What? True to form. Backwards guy. Ooh. So is that a chakram? Is that what they're called? Like a really small chakram? And then is his goatee? It kind of feels a little, almost like a little Egyptian or something. Pharaoh styled facial hair. I like his character design. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Usopp, when he was dancing and getting drunk, basically have those like heart-shaped sunglasses? And I wonder if that was kind of just a nod to Jango and a way to include him in the story as well. You know, there's like all those Easter eggs in the show, and I think that is, in a lot of ways, maybe like one of the best ways to do things is like, if you're gonna cut it out, like keep the spirit of it and like the nod that it's like, we know. But then again, I also understand that a lot of the outfits and things that they wore were part of like cover spreads or color spreads and things like that. So maybe he was wearing them in that. But that's the first thing I thought of when I saw his heart glasses here, though. This is another one of those instances where I just like had a random story. But I remember I was teaching, you know, I predominantly taught, actually I exclusively taught elementary school in Japan. And one day we were singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm. And I was, I think, sick. I was probably like 2 weeks into like walking pneumonia and like being in the worst pain I think I'd ever been in, because I must have walked like 15 miles down a mountain and then all the way back, because I just didn't know how to use the bus system at that time. And so I'm at work and I'm dying here, and the kids were in the hallway and they were singing Old MacDonald, and then all of a sudden I just got like I just got this weird wild hair, and so I started singing Karada ju ga itai yo, itai yo. And the kids looked at me like, huh? What? Because I'm basically singing to the tune of Old MacDonald that my body hurts everywhere. And so then, it was just kind of a silly thing. But then, fast forward to days and weeks later, and I've got kids skipping down the hallway singing itai yo. It just, oh man. So yeah, this is one of those things, like I said, like something's gonna happen and it's just gonna trigger an immediate memory. And the way he goes, it just took me back, because I remember so many people that, maybe hit their head, bonked their head, smashed a finger. This is very much something that I heard all the time in Japan. Not when I did it. Mine were very clear, concise swear words in English. Here we go. That's their connection. Yep. Mochiron. I love that word. Very abrupt. Much better. Clean up your language. Ah. Yeah, it's interesting that this is the plan where there was just more like subterfuge happening in the One Piece live action. And honestly, they didn't really draw too much attention to it other than making it completely obvious that he was up to no good. Yeah. Only in an anime are you gonna get so much plot-centric dialogue between, villain and subordinate while somebody overhears it. It's like, wow, I'm really glad I eavesdropped for this, because it pertains to everything that I was initially suspicious of, or maybe, just happened upon. The over-explaining is awesome. I guess I do have something in common with anime then, don't I? Oh, poor crab. Aw, what a coward. Yeah, there you go. It's interesting because Luffy is just as invested in taking out this a-hole as Usopp is. So, I'm actually proud of Luffy for saying that, even though, that's totally within his character and exactly what we expect. I'm glad he did it. Oh, that's cool the way they animated that run. I like that. We get some really extreme close-ups in this arc as well. Like I said, they're doing a lot of really interesting things with the way they frame and compose these shots. I really like his Jolly Roger. They're all kind of simple, but at the same time, they're very... The best comedy always comes in threes, so that was pretty. That was pretty good. They got me right there. Didn't quite get me with the second one, but that third one got me. So this was a really cool episode. I noticed that I talked a little bit more in this one, and I really like that we're starting to see more of that personal connection between Luffy and Usopp, and it not just particularly pertaining to the fact that Luffy knew Yasopp. There's also the fact that Luffy is starting to see, or he got a glimpse of anyways, some of the qualities that Usopp does possess, but he just has to get out of his own way. And it obviously he did not demonstrate those qualities here at the end of this episode. But it's interesting that again, it always gives me a chuckle when like villains monologue in really any form of storytelling. But I feel like this is particularly the case for anime in particular. Everything that you would possibly need to know is just laid out in very elaborate, like almost painstaking lengths, just to let the protagonist know what is about to occur and all of their reasoning and motivation for it. It's really helpful for me being in the audience, but man, oh man, is it always just a real treat to be able to witness that trope. I like it a lot. All right. Well, that was amazing. Episode 10. We're deep into this story now. We've got Jango. They're going straight for the assassination plan. Again, I kind of wish that we could have seen more of Jango. I think I've said both names both ways the last couple of episodes, and so I apologize. I don't know if in the English dub do they say Jango or do they say Jango as well. I don't know, but irregardless, I actually really like this character. I like that he isn't just so overpowerful where he can just hypnotize you and then that's it. You know, he would become a real danger if he could both hypnotize you, stay awake, because then, you know, obviously he could dispatch you if that was really ultimately his intention. But no, yeah, he's out like a light just along with everybody else he puts under his spell. That's a lot of fun. Anyways, that's really all I got for you for this episode. This was just a fun watch, and I'm noticing that this might just be a thing with Usopp's story in particular. Is like I'm just having a lot of fun watching it, and I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun in the editing as well, trying to get a bit of a cohesive story with what's going on in the anime episode, even though I'm just kind of sitting here taking it all in. My goodness, I'm still talking. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one. This is Noxiddar, out. We'll see ya.